Today gamers, we're jumping into some more Remnant 2, and this time we're going to be covering the best weapons you can get hold of for the secondary slot on your character. So if you're after some amazing weapons for your pistol slot, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're delving into some more Remnant 2 content and taking a look at some of the best and most powerful weapons in the game. These ones aren't however going to be your primary weapons, they're going to be the secondary weapons you're going to be equipping that you can chuck straight over into your pistol slot. There's a lot to choose from, but which ones are the best? So jumping over to the first one, and one that I used very early on in the game but still holds a place in my heart, and it's going to be the cube gun. This gun is just an amazing gun to use. Really cool effect going with it. It's absolutely amazing if you need to conserve ammo, because as far as I'm aware it's the only gun in the game that actually comes with infinite ammo, meaning you're never going to run out, and it can really help if you're running low on your primary. Another cool feature with this, as you've probably seen in the clips in the background, the mod that comes attached to this is called Cube Shield. Generates a cube shield that absorbs up to a set amount of damage from incoming enemy projectiles and lasts 15 seconds. Also, if you reactivate the skill, it's going to launch the cube, doing some damage effect as it goes through them, and it can look truly awesome. Gives a bit of protection, helps you from those ranged attacks, and just overall this gun is a really nice easy one to use from start to finish. Next up, and we're jumping over to a weapon that has a little bit more oomph, and this one's going to be the Star Shot. If you've used this, you already know that it is an absolute beast, can do some nice damage. It's really cool how it does a little air effect even on its standard bullets, allowing you to hit multiple targets at once very often. The Star Shot however does have a few drawbacks. It does some insane damage with its Big Bang mod that can hold up to 5 charges, and then the charges are consumed when you use them, doing an even bigger error effect. This I've seen hit upwards of 5k, it can absolutely boss nuke, area nuke, do some insane damage to targets, but it is one of those mods that you do want to be a little bit careful with. The gun itself is just amazing and can be an absolute game changer. You just may want to watch out for any enemies jumping right in front of you, or your minions jumping in front of you, or just shooting your friends in the back, because if you do it could kind of end up a little bit like this. Great weapon to use, but also one that may make you lose your friends. So from an absolute boomstick, this time we're going over to one of my favourite weapons in the game. I absolutely adore this, and this one's going to be the Nebula. If you like doing corrosive damage, if you're kind of boosting your elemental effects, this one may well be one you want to look at. Probably one of the higher damage weapons in the game. Its mod is very effective against a lot of enemies. The only drawback with this weapon is it is very close range with its standard attack, so you do need to be a bit mindful with that. A little bit of a spray and pray kind of effect going on. The corrosive damage will definitely help to burst those enemies down, but the main part is going to be the mod, and that's going to be Nanostorm. Unleash a storm of nanomachines that seek after enemies within 20 meters and repeatedly attack them, dealing a set amount of acid damage that lasts for 15 seconds. With the right build on, with the right rings and things such as that, this can be very effective, massive damage over time, and often will finish off the standard targets and move on to the next one. Very effective on bosses, but also very good on multi-targets. For our next one, and I wanted to put a weapon in that was more of a standard weapon rather than a boss one, because this way you can kind of modify it a little bit more to your needs. And I think this is probably one of the best secondary weapons in the game, and that's going to be the Bolt Driver. The Bolt Driver is a very effective weapon. It is one that you need a bit of skill with, as you need quite a bit of precision with those shots, but its charged burst fire I found did a really nice amount of damage, more so than most of the other secondaries. Of course, with your standard weapons you'll then be able to modify it how you want, chucking in your own mods, which is always great for a bit of build diversity. Probably not to everyone's taste if you're more about that rapid bullet action, but if you're trying for out and out damage, this one's probably one of the best you can get hold of. Lastly, and we jump over to the gun that takes a licking but keeps on kicking, and that's going to be the Enigma. This one has recently had a nerf, however it's still probably the best secondary in the game. for taking out multi-targets at once, especially if you put the AoE trait on it and certain necklaces. This one's pretty much unmatched. It dissolves enemies, it's not even too bad against single targets with your Chaos Driver mod, allowing you to get a bit of extra damage and of course dealing shock damage over time. Probably one of my favourite weapons since the start of the game. It may well even get another nerf further down the line, so be aware of that, but at the moment still well worthy of being in any top weapon list. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Obviously there's an absolute abundance of weapons to find in this game, but those ones I found to be probably the top tier overall. If you think I've missed one off, then let me know, chuck it in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. But as always, for all things gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.